This how-to is going to show you how to make histograms from your data. So first let's get some data into our activity. So I'm going to click anywhere and choose the table or data icon, and it creates a table. And I'm getting some table data from the EAPS data zoo, and I'm just going to put the height of some roller coasters that's there. So all I have to do is enter them into each column, each row. We'll just put some of them in here. So this is the height of several different roller coasters. So I have my data. I can make more data. I could add in the length, the top speed, but we're talking about how do you create histograms. So let's do that. So we're going to select our data. So once you select the data after you've entered it, you select the column, you have a lot of choices here. You can do calculations, regressions, tests, intervals, distributions, but we're interested in the graph of making a histogram. And so when I click that, you'll notice that one of my choices is histogram. So you simply select histogram from the list, and what it does is create a histogram of the current data. And so it comes with this, the step, the difference in between where it's starting. It's starting on 26, so it's taking the range. So you can actually modify any of this. So we could say, let's say I want the steps to be 10 and the start value. So notice that now my histogram columns are much smaller, and we could start maybe a little lower than our 26. Right, go there. So 10 seems a little too small, right? So maybe we want to do 25 and see if that makes a difference. So now we're getting a little closer here. So lots of things you can do, and as you select it, there's only one. And you know what, let's move our graph a little bit there. There's one at this value, there's one at this value, but there's two at this value. So here's our different histograms that are telling us the frequency of each value down here. So you can play around with the steps in between, how wide your histogram bars are, and where you start your data at. And if you want to change the color, you simply can choose any color here, right? And I could add in, now I want to add in numbers that make a little bit of sense here, so this might work. Let's add in speed and see if we can put two histograms together. So we're going to do 93. Oops. So now let's choose B and do another histogram, and let's see what happens. Now it is obviously having a different scale, so you can see how the second histogram is only contained within the first part of the original histogram, and that is because obviously its range is much different. So we may not want to actually have these two together, and here's where you can do separate them out. So if I actually click on the tab here at this bottom and separate them out, I'm going to see them separately, and now my scale looks a little nicer for the second one. But you can actually add those together if that makes sense. But the range on both of them is not quite the same, so you're going to have the speed kind of concentrated on one lower end of the original. But it's a nice way to think about things like that. So that's all there is to making a histogram. Enter your data, select your column, and choose from the graph menu your histogram information.